Welcome back to the deep dive. We hear so much about the huge push for renewables, especially here in the Middle East, big solar farms, wind turbines.
Yeah,
It's all happening.
it really is. The pace is incredible.
But, what happens when the sun goes down? Or the wind just, well, stops?
Right, that's the big question, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's where we land today looking at flexible gas power. It's maybe not the first thing people think of in the energy transition, but it seems, well, pretty crucial for keeping the lights on.
Absolutely indispensable, I'd say.
So our mission today, we've got this really interesting brochure from ENGIE, big global energy company.
Major player.
And we're going to unpack how natural gas, which, okay, maybe sounds like old news, is actually being framed as a key partner for renewables, balancing things out, keeping the power supply stable.
Yeah, and what I found really insightful looking through this is how clearly they lay out the problem, the intermittency issue with solar and wind. It's not theoretical.
No, it's very real.
And they show how flexible thermal generation, that's the gas power we're talking about, kind of slots in, where battery storage, which is great for quick fixes,
Super fast, yeah.
might not cover those longer periods, maybe hours, maybe even longer when you need that backup. It's a real balancing act, they describe.
Okay, let's set the scene then. The Middle East energy mix, it's changing fast, loads of renewables coming online. But you mentioned challenges, hurdles. What are we actually talking about?
Well, the core issue, and the material really spells this out, is just the variability. Solar power fluctuates with clouds, time of day. Wind is, well, windy sometimes, not others.
Right. Predictable overall, maybe, but not second to second.
Exactly. And grids need that second-to-second stability. So think of it like this. Batteries are fantastic for what they call ultra-fast flexibility, those immediate blips.
Okay.
But for longer-term flexibility requirements, maybe a whole evening without wind or a cloudy day reducing solar output significantly, you need something more sustained.
And that's where this flexible gas comes in.
That's where the low-carbon thermal generation, as they term it, becomes essential.
And diving into ENGIE's role here, I
Yeah.
mean, 3 decades in the region, that's a long time.
It really is. They're not new arrivals jumping on the renewables bandwagon. They've been part of the energy landscape here for ages.
And they talk very specifically about their expertise in balancing renewables with flexible generation. So what does that actually mean for their strategy going forward? Are they just building more gas plants?
Well, yes and no. It's more nuanced. They highlight a very deliberate strategic shift. For their future thermal plants, they're focusing specifically on open cycle gas turbines, OCGTs.
Rookie GTs, okay.
And these aren't positioned as old school baseload power. They're framed as, and this is their term, a fast response, flexible backup solution. The key word there is complement, designed to complement solar and wind.
So backup, not replacement.
Precisely. The goal is ensuring reliability, preventing blackouts, but doing it in a way that supports, not hinders, more renewables coming onto the grid.
And just to give everyone a sense of ENGIE scale globally, I was looking at their 2024 report figures.
Yeah.
Pretty staggering. By 2030, they're aiming for 95 gigawatts installed capacity
Huge number.
and a net zero carbon target by 2045. So balancing emissions out. Right now, they've got 102 gigawatts total, almost half is renewables, 44.7 GW, and about the same in thermal, 45.6 GW. So it's a massive and quite diverse portfolio already.
It really shows that balance they're talking about in practice.
Okay, so to really get how this balancing works, we need to dig into the tech a bit. The brochure talks about 2 main types of gas turbines. These OCGTs you mentioned, open cycle,
Right.
and CCGTs, combined cycle gas turbines. Let's break down the differences. Why choose one over the other?
Absolutely. It's key to understanding their strategy. The material lays it out quite clearly. Let's start with OCGT's open cycle.
Okay.
Think of these as the sprinters. They're built for speed, for quick bursts of power.
Right, when renewables suddenly drop off.
Exactly. They're simpler. Efficiency is maybe 30, 40%, not super high, but that's not their main job.
Their main job is speed.
Speed. Startup time is incredibly fast, like 10 to 15 minutes. Ideal for that sudden balancing act, cloud cover rolls in, wind drops unexpectedly.
Got it.
So they operate in short bursts only when needed. Capital cost is lower, simpler design. You can even sometimes convert an older CCGT plant into an OCGT for this purpose.
Interesting.
And because they run relatively infrequently, their total operating hours, and thus their emissions contribution in terms of just runtime, are kept minimal. The process itself is simple. Burn gas, spin a turbine, make electricity. The hot exhaust just goes out, no extra steps.
Okay, so that's the Sprinter, the OCGT. What about the other one? CCGT combined cycle.
Right, the CCGT. If OCGTs are sprinters, CCGTs are the marathon runners. Traditionally, these were your baseload plants, designed to run continuously very efficiently.
Efficiency is the key difference here.
Big difference. We're talking 50, maybe even up to 62% efficiency. Much higher.
How do they do that?
It's clever. They take the hot exhaust gas from the first gas turbine, the waste heat, and use it to boil water and create steam.
Okay.
That steam then drives a second turbine, a steam turbine, generating extra electricity from the same initial fuel burn. That's the combined part.
I see. 2 cycles for the price of 1 almost.
Kind of, yeah. But the trade-off is responsiveness. They take longer to start up, maybe 30 to 60 minutes. Better for planned needs or longer stretches of flexibility, not those sudden jolts.
Right.
Longer ramp-up time, higher capital investment needed for all the extra heat recovery gear. And while they're more efficient per megawatt hour, they traditionally run more often, though that's changing as renewables grow. Their flexibility is, well, medium. Not ideal for those quick backup needs.
Okay, so that analogy we were thinking about, the highway. Renewables are the main traffic flow.
Mm-hmm.
OCGTs are like those super fast on-ramps you use only when there's a sudden surge or gap in traffic.
Perfect analogy. Quick on, quick off.
And the CCGTs are more like the steady, efficient main lanes themselves, designed for continuous travel.
Exactly. Handles the bulk smoothly, efficiently, but not built for sudden swerves.
So how often are these OCGT on-ramps actually needed then? Does the brochure give a sense of that as the grid gets greener?
That's a really good question. It doesn't give hard numbers like X times per day because it varies hugely based on the specific grid, weather, renewable levels.
Sure, depends on the system.
But it strongly implies the need increases directly with the amount of renewables. More solar and wind means more potential gaps to fill, means more need for that fast OCGT response.
Which brings up that interesting point you made earlier. Why focus future development on OCGTs if CCGTs are so much more efficient?
And the document is quite explicit about this. It's about choosing the right solution based on each country's energy system needs. It's a strategic pivot. They see the future need isn't just more power, it's more fast, flexible backup, specifically to enable more renewables.
Gotcha. Tailoring the tool to the specific job needed in the future grid, not just the present one.
Precisely.
Now, the brochure has this map of ENGIE's footprint in the GCC. It looks substantial. What sort of scale are we talking about in this region specifically?
Oh, it's huge. Really underscores their deep roots here. You've got massive projects like Azar North in Kuwait, that's over 1,500 megawatts of power, plus a huge amount of desalinated water, 107 million imperial gallons a day.
Wow, so power and water.
In its
Traded.
Very much so. Then Ras Laffan in Qatar, even bigger power-wise, 2,730 milliWs plus water. Marifik in Saudi Arabia, another giant, 2,750 milliW power, 176 MLGD water.
These are enormous facilities.
They are. Across the GCC, ENGIE's total installed power capacity is nearly 28 gigawatts. And beyond electricity, they're involved in district cooling 92 plants through Tabriz and overall provide desalinated water serving over 10 million people daily.
That's a massive responsibility, actually.
It really is. It goes way beyond just keeping the lights on. It's about fundamental resources for the region.
So given all that capability, all that experience,
Yeah.
what does the material say makes ENGIE stand out? What's their pitch, essentially?
Well, they frame it around a few key strengths. First, obviously, is that decades of experience. They stress their long track record in gas power, the deep technical know-how with both OCGTs and CCGTs. It's not just theory for them.
Right, boots on the ground.
Second, they really hammer home this idea of ensuring reliability while expanding renewables. It's not an either. They position their solutions as enabling grid stability, actively preventing blackouts, and importantly, reducing the risk of relying too much on intermittent sources before the grid is fully ready.
Okay, that makes sense. What else?
Then there's the optimizing carbon footprint through tailored flexibility. This sounds a bit like jargon, but the point is, by using flexible assets like OCGTs only when needed, they minimize the overall runtime and associated emissions compared to, say, running a less flexible plant more often.
So efficiency in operation, not just in the turbine itself.
Exactly. And they also highlight being future-ready for hydrogen and low-carbon fuels. This is pretty crucial. They're designing new assets so they can be adapted later to burn hydrogen blends or biofuels.
So it's a bridge strategy. Using gas flexibly now, but building it ready for cleaner fuels down the line.
That's the idea. It gives them an edge, potentially.
Yeah.
Plus, they mention things like fast deployment, scalable solutions, capital efficiency, leveraging existing sites, optimizing costs, and finally, leveraging their global expertise from operating in over 30 countries. They bring international best practices.
It's a pretty comprehensive picture they paint.
It is very pragmatic, very focused on the operational realities of the transition.
So wrapping this up, we've really seen how this flexible gas power, especially these OCGT sprinters, isn't being sold as a competitor to solar and wind. It's positioned as a vital partner.
A crucial enabler, really.
Yeah, and the brochure puts it starkly. The energy transition is about balance. We cannot afford blackouts or unreliable power while waiting for perfect solutions.
Which, when you connect it to the bigger picture, highlights this really pragmatic approach to decarbonizing. It's about, as they say, future-proofing the grid.
Making sure the grid can actually handle all the renewables we want to add.
Exactly. Supporting that growth, not letting reliability issues slow it down, or worse, cause backlash against the transition itself. If the power starts becoming unreliable as we add renewables,
People lose faith in the whole project.
right, that could be a major setback. So this reliability piece is non-negotiable.
It really makes you appreciate the complexity, doesn't it? It's not just about building solar panels. It's the whole system, the grid, the backup, the flexibility, making sure it all works together seamlessly, reliably.
Absolutely. When you look at all this, what really stands out to you now?
I think it's that idea of flexible meaning more than just fast startup times. It's about strategic deployment. Using these assets smartly to manage the whole system, supply and demand, building resilience. It's quite sophisticated, actually.
It is. It's system-level thinking.
So maybe the next time you hear about the energy transition, think about this balance. It's not just the shiny new renewables. It's also about these robust, flexible backups, working behind the scenes, making sure everything runs smoothly on our way to a cleaner energy future.